Hi everyone, it's Gloss Intuitive. Thanks for being here. I'm going to tune in for the Libra Collective, Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, any placement of Libra, or maybe you just happen to find this by chance. There could be something here for you. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. You have free will, final say. Your intuition knows best. All right. So Libra, what's in store for Libra? Picking up on energies around you, maybe what's coming in. Let's see, what do we have? General reading. Any area of your life. Let's see. Tarot, oracle cards, channeled messages. We'll use all of the above. All right. Let's see. Libra. First card. We have escape. Card 12. So this is Pisces energy. This is, it feels, I mean, honestly, it looks like someone's kind of maybe running away from their emotions, or they're trying to change the way something's unfolding in some way. What else do we have? We have endurance here. Card 8, Scorpio energy. So you have a fair amount of water energy already. Just saw 111 on the timer. So manifesting. I mean, I feel like for some of you, you need to get out there and get inspired. It feels like there's some sort of lack of inspiration here. Let's see what else we have. But again, you know, it's a 40-minute reading, so who knows? You know, just only take what resonates. We'll see. What else do we have? We have a lot more messages to get to. Okay, you have enthusiasm, as I said, Libra, as I said, there's just something here about needing some inspiration. There's card 9 here. I feel like some of you are about ready to call it quits. So before you call it quits, let's see what the messages say. So this is Sagittarius energy coming in. A little bit of fire here. What else do we have? For Libra, adaptability. Gemini energy, card 3. It feels like for some of you, in order to really continue to do something, it's like you have to deal with something emotional. It feels kind of as though, almost as if like you've made something try to work. Maybe you've had to be adaptable, you've had to endure. But right now it could be like you're wanting to step away, or again, like call it quits on something or someone, because I just get this energy of like a lack of inspiration, or like all the details weren't shared with you before maybe you committed to something, and then you were the one having to be really flexible the whole time. So let's see, anything else? 2 cards, criticism and decision. All right, so we have, I just want to say too, we have a lot of Mars energy. So we have 3 cards that have Mars on them, and 1 that has the moon, and 2 that have the sun. So just Mars energy here. For those of you, you know, so Mars can have to do with sensitivity and intuition. Okay, I'm sorry, that's moon. Sorry, Mars can have to do with that, like fierceness, right? Raw energy, determination, right? We're in Aries season. That makes sense that we'd have this heavy Mars influence in the cards. We have Virgo coming in on this card, Gemini coming in on this card. So card 3 here is decision. So coming up with a new strategy, maybe. What's your next move going to be? And then there's card 6, criticism. And I'm actually hearing clairaudiently, there's the door. So I think some of you are wondering if you should go through it or if you should send someone else through that door. So yeah, card 6. All right. So more Mars. So raw determination. Raw energy there. You know, it's like, do you fight back about something, you know, so to speak? Or, you know, what do you do with this criticism? So there could be some of you received some sort of harsh judgment, criticism, or you could feel just that you've tried a number of things and the fortune hasn't changed yet for you in some way. All right. I think for some of you too, I mean, I'm getting advice here right now of needing to cleanse, you know, or needing to gain some sort of new inspiration. Kind of dig deep even, and see if this is really the way you want to continue with something, or if you want to make a total pivot here. Let's get more cards, please. We'll use the Divine Compass Oracle. This is by Night Bloom Creative. Information's down below. Rising flames. So yeah, okay. So this is about igniting your soul. It's letting your passion guide you to the fulfilling purpose meant for you. Right. From the very beginning, I'm just picking up on maybe you've lost that love and feeling. You lost the enthusiasm with something, just feeling kind of uninspired. But it is Phoenix rising energy. But sometimes, when the Phoenix rises, they fly the heck out of there. They're not just sticking around. So you really have that. You can really choose which way you want to go. Let's see, what do we have? Fantasyland here. So this is about making sure everyone involved is being realistic and that they're on the same page. So no more illusions. You can only make so many adjustments, and then it's like you've got to make a decision, right? That's what it feels like. Again, do you hang in something, it's like hold out a little longer, or do you just pivot and go into something completely different? Inner vision. So cutting through the fog of confusion with your power of discernment. You're seeing what's real. Really plays off that Fantasyland card here. Now, do you still have the same excitement and energy and emotion with regard to something that you're doing or that you were wanting to pursue? It could be anything, projects, job, relationships, creative stuff, whatever. And then we have Dream Weaver here. So dreaming and imagining brings your powerful vision into reality. So this is about making miracles. Being open here. I'm getting energy too with the chest being lit up here about like needing to, again, sort of release any sort of anything stagnant. Okay, anything stagnant, stuck, anything that feels heavy. For decision, that's clarified by Duality Dance. So this is about seeking balance amid the chaos and finding harmony within yourself. What will make you feel best at the end of the day? This is remaining steady as you go forward. A lot of you have had to deal with some turbulence, disruptions, delays, setbacks, criticism. It's a saving grace. So forgiving yourself and others heals the wounds and sets you free. So releasing burdens, releasing that criticism from yourself or from others. There are a lot of things in life we can't undo. We can't take it back, right? So it's like, how do we move forward with grace, with ease, with peace in our heart? How do we do that? Some things just, they feel heavy, All right, let's see. I think we're going to use the Cheeky Tarot. We haven't used that in just a little bit. Well, at least I don't think we have. I don't know. I've been doing personal readings too, so sometimes I forget which decks I've used and haven't. Okay, for Libra. Let's see, for Libra. Yeah, check the website, schoolhouseintuitive.com, if you're interested in personal reading details. All right, let's see. And of course, there is the other channel, schoolhouseintuitive.com, with a different spelling. Information's in the description box. That's it for announcements. Page of Pentacles. This is that little message that there could be an opportunity to start anew. There's a small step here in the right direction. It's something, what am I going to do with this seed is what they're thinking. It's like, look at this beautiful opportunity. I could really make something of this. And you see, they've already, tilled the soil in somewhat, in the background there. They've prepared it, and now they have the opportunity. So for some of you, you've been preparing something behind the scenes, maybe. Could be a side project or, a lot of different things. It's taken a lot of strength. I notice how muscular their arms are. Some of you could feel too, like having an opportunity could feel stressful. Like that could be causing almost like pressure that I've got to make the most of this. I've got to make the most of it. and so we don't want to be like blocking our own abundance by putting too much pressure or unrealistic expectations or holding on too rigidly to exactly how things should turn out. They're tying this somehow to adaptability. So dreaming and imagining, allowing yourself to dream, to imagine, to envision what it is you want to bring into existence. What else do we have? Oh my, now we have an Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles, got that little opportunity there, and this is a big one. This is a big opportunity. So you may have multiple opportunities. Something may feel a little more sure, or something could feel a little more like dream, like oh gee, can I really bring this in? For this opportunity, for one path you could go, you might need the support of others, or you just might need more resources than you have, or it just feels like it's going to require a lot more planning, or endurance is one of the cards it's clarifying. It feels like you're going to have to put more into it. Something that starts small could turn into something massive, so you might need a team in place. You may not have the resources for that yet, but focus on the step you're on. Okay. By the way, I've read some comments that, I talk a lot during the tarot reading. Sometimes I get comments like that, and I'm like, well, yes, I am going to need to talk as I do the reading. But I think what people are saying, some of them are like, I'm giving too much motivational stuff. I mean, hey, if I'm not your reader, I'm not your reader. That's not going to change what I do. Okay. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I feel like there's an energy like that around in general with you, because I read these comments a while ago. This is not me like thinking about me. This is like, it's brought forth by my guides as an example of how sometimes we need to cut through nonsense, or we need to cut through like other people's stuff. We need to push that aside and really decide, like, what is my mission? What is it that I'm about? What is it that, for my example, like, what is it that I want my channel to be about? Do I want it to be like everybody else's tarot channel? No, I don't. That's why I started my own channel, partially because I wanted a channel like this. I wanted more of this type of stuff where it's about you. Every reading's about you. Every reading is meant to inspire, to help you navigate some things, to look into the current energy, to use my own life experiences in there as appropriate. So Libra, I'm just going to tell you, if I listened to every comment that was like kind of every bit of criticism that was, just, off, like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, just, if I listened to all that and it would make me lose sight of my own inner vision. And we need to keep dreaming. We need to keep our vision solid. We need to stay firm in our vision, right? There's always going to be criticizers or haters, if you will. They're dealing with their own stuff, and you just send some, compassion their way, or just completely ignore it. But it's not worth getting sidetracked. Okay. It's one of those where stay true to you. All right. There's a lot of the same out there, right? And so maybe you're trying to do something different. And just because it might require a lot of work, or it might seem like a total fantasy, or you're afraid, oh, how are people going to receive it, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Give it a try. As long as you feel like, hey, I keep being drawn to this and I have enough to get started, what do you have to lose, really? I'm sure you could answer that, but I'm not asking for a response to that. I'm just rethinking that again. Like, is it worth never? Is it better to never try something than to try and fail? And we have the King of Cups, and that's someone who's not getting swept up with all the drama. They're not letting the other people's the waves of other people's journey on their own ship, like throw them off, right? Because that's creating waves, maybe something, maybe creating waves around you. I'm going back to that criticism card, and just if something is, like, just kind of keep yourself steady. So this is being in that energy of the King of Cups is something that can help you stay steady, keep you firmly grounded, firmly planted. Make sure you're doing things, again, to clear and cleanse your emotional, your energetic self, all the stuff, doing all the things. Okay. There's lots of things you can look up. You can, and how to do that. Bottom of the deck, you have the beautiful and very welcomed Four of Wands. 1111 card, divine timing. There's a wish coming through. We see the little ladybug there. The number 7 could mean something, or 4, or both. Okay. You know, it seems like there is this message coming in about not drawing attention to any of your mistakes or past failures or challenges, weaknesses, if you want to call it that. There's something about not drawing attention to that. It feels kind of like, yeah, there are some things happening behind the scenes that you may not be seeing yet, as far as something coming to reality. You may have felt that you haven't been rewarded enough, or at all, really, for what it is all the work you've put in, all the things you've had to do behind the scenes. So a lot of that validation, it won't come from the external. I am getting that here. It's not, this isn't, life isn't like the Olympics where, you know, you might get it's like, it's not that kind of competition. Life can feel very competitive. I don't know why they're bringing the Olympics into this, but so there's some sort of like analogy here with the Olympics, and sort of feeling maybe judged, again, feeling judged. I don't know why that's coming in. It's well, because of the criticism card, but I was getting this overall energy of almost like maybe even nothing in particular happened. It's almost feeling kind of defensive. It feels like a little bit defensive. And that's why I gave you that example of, like, well, I get comments too that are like, people just trying to, throw some shade my way or whatever, or they're just being themselves. I look at it as like, they're just being themselves. And like, I don't agree with how they go about things either by that comment, So just kind of like, it's going to be, there's always going to be stuff like that, right? People like that. But I feel a lot of you, I feel like almost like some of you are just tired of it, or, just tired of the, like, they're giving me the word, they're giving me minutia too, which has been coming to me lately. And it's coming to me in this reading, and it's like, trivial details, right? Things that are really not, it's like, the minutia of daily life, right? Sometimes that can be good, right? It's like our routines, the little details, the thing like brush your teeth and all that. Sometimes there's comfort in things like, um, routine and structure, but then other times it's kind of like, well, it's like they're, you can look at it as like, those are trivial, like, just, they're not really important. Um, so it's like getting, because you could feel like minutia is weight, or you could feel like that a little bit of minutia is actually good, because it helps, like, kind of ground us, in our day, or lets us know where we are in space and time. And those who are very dreamy and ethereal and things, we might need that, but there always needs to be that balance. And as far as that, the judgment, the criticism, and the, you needing to kind of um, find balance amongst chaos, drama, meanness, whatever it is over here, this energy I'm seeing here, it's, it's again, it's like, it's that balance. I don't know how else to put it, except that is really what needs to happen there with that, is more balance, and not letting something influence you so much that it knocks you off your throne. King of Cups, they wouldn't let that happen, right? So let's get in our King of Cups energy as we're trying to, you know, um, get re-inspired or inspired, because the Four of Wands, that is a dream come true. You are the dream weaver. This is really, it gives me magician vibes. A lot of this is giving me magician vibes. You've got to kind of hang in there with something maybe. And yeah, wouldn't it be nice if you had support from those around you? I am getting that, like, something could be hard, but you don't have necessarily the team in place. Well, again, focus on, like, right now what we have, okay? And trying to stay in that present moment. I know it can be stressful, it can be hard some days, but look at this. Look at this. There's the Queen of Wands. Out of every card to get right now, this is the one. So again, like, be strong in who you are. Not letting anybody tear you down, not letting the world, beat you up, kind of thing. So this is somebody who, what? Nothing stops the Queen of Wands. This is somebody who will not be stopped. Okay, someone could look at them and say, oh, well, they're so, like, egotistical, or like they're so arrogant. Confidence should not be confused with arrogance, right? Yeah. So this is someone who, they walk in a room and they light it up, right? They are the ones who look good, and generally there's just something radiant about them. They don't have to have the fanciest of things. It's their energy. Their energy speaks for itself. Okay, this is someone who's very self-assured. This is somebody who's very creative. They're talented. They're artistic. Think of the Leo, Aries, and Sagittarians, or maybe you have that in your chart. Maybe it's your rising sign or something. Yeah, they're going to creatively, they're going to find a way through, and they do not get bogged down by the minutia. Even the word minutia is one of those words where, like, what it describes is accurate. You know how you have some words that just, like, that doesn't sound like that word should be that meaning, that, but then some of them do. Minutia is one where it actually does fit. All right. We have Judgment here. It's all about you. You get to decide, okay? You have ultimate free will and final say, not just in these readings, but with everything. So release yourself from the opinions or the burdens, the criticism, the other, just the energy of others. This is forgiving yourself and others. They're asking for forgiveness. They're coming out of their coffins here, and they're repenting or whatever. This is they have awareness now. Like, they're taking responsibility. They're getting that clarity. It's a moment of awakening. It's a moment of, like, the truth kind of setting us free. Let's turn this a little bit more. See that. Let's see. Move this out of the way. Oh, there's a little bell there. Ding, ding, ding. All right. Let's see what else we have for Libra. All right. I'm getting Edward, and also Holland or Holly. Oh, wow. Good job, Libra. We've got the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Practicality. This is who's going to help us with this Page of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, right? She's looking down at that pentacle, and she's like, I know exactly what to do with this pentacle. She's like, you give me a pentacle and I'll have 10 by the end of the month for you. She knows exactly what to do, where to plant. She's really good at delegating her resources and her energy, her time. She keeps enough energy to create, enough resources, time, energy, money, whatever, to create, to have a fertile life. She keeps enough, because it takes energy, right, and resources a lot of the times to do things. And she keeps enough for herself. And she's really good at it. People know they can count on her to make more out of the one opportunity she does have. Like, like I said, she'll take one thing and turn it 10. That's why the bunny's there, because bunnies, if you see one bunny, there are tons of bunnies around, right? They're excellent at reproducing. I feel like with the Queen of Pentacles, she's really good with her investments, much like a King of Pentacles would be. And so she lives comfortably. She's just that person, could be Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, but it's like they get up, they do what they need to do, They don't get thrown around, swept away by whatever's going on around them, right? And there's nothing wrong with, if we're sensitive sometimes. Like I said, I have my moments too, but I'm like, overall, we just got to get up and get on with it sometimes. But I know some things, though, big things, like we need time to grieve and process, work with professionals, etc. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about something major like that, right? I'm talking about the day-to-day stuff, right? Not letting someone ruin your day, right? Dull your shine, sparkle, whatever. The Queen of Pentacles, though, they get up, they get stuff done, right? They do what they need to do. And before you know it, they've built this really big like nest egg for themselves. Or people look at them in the neighborhood and they go, gee, as far as I knew, she just worked for the library, but she's got a nice little house for herself. And look at her garden; she's got a nice garden, and like her kids are doing well. And she just always everybody seems to have what they need. I mean, they're not extravagant in any way, but and it's admirable. It's admirable. They've got their ish together, right? So that's kind of that Queen of Pentacles energy, and I feel like there's structure there too, with the Queen of Pentacles. So that's an example of how minutia could be a positive thing. The day to day and the routine, and what might seem like just the boring stuff to her. She realizes it all has to get done. She doesn't really need to have an emotion about it. She just it's like, yeah, I'm just going to do it and get it done. So maybe some of you can relate to that as either that's your current energy or where you want to be, whatever. We have the more Pentacles. Oh my, we have the Knight of Pentacles now. So that's taking that opportunity, that seed of potential there, the Ace of Pentacles, and they're going forward. They're moving forward with it. Okay, it's that reliable, efficient energy. The Knight of Pentacles is learning how to be a Queen of Pentacles, a King of Pentacles, right? They're learning. They're starting out. So some of you, it could be either you're helping somebody understand these lessons about finances and resources in general, or and having to work for things, or you yourself are experiencing that. But it's like, just it's somebody who maybe they're younger, right? They're starting out in life, right? All right. So maybe you're trying to help someone else get a good start, or you yourself are trying to restart, and get yourself better situated as far as your resources and where you want to go. What else do we have? Justice. Libra, there's our card. Looks like you're cutting through the nonsense too. And I think for some of you, you realized that the time is now with something, and that's just the truth, Ruth, right? This is like somebody who they're not afraid to put out there where they stand with something either. Okay, they're like, no, this is, I do this for this reason. I've thought about this a lot. I have the clarity I need. And again, they're the ones who they live by their own reality, and then rules, really, in a sense. They're always like, they're weighing their options. This is somebody who's very respected too, a very respectable kind of energy, someone who's an authority in their own lives. And the truth, the honesty may not always be the easiest way to be, but it's a place that they know that's where in the end, with karma and things and cause and effect always at play, actions that have consequences. So this is really living with integrity and knowing that in divine timing, Libra, divine timing card here, those scales will balance in your favor. We've got the ladybug there with the wishes coming true. Don't let somebody or something invade your thoughts or take your peace from you, though. Okay, it's not worth it. Oh my, look at this. This is renewed vitality. All right, this is things, this is the world shining on you. You'll be getting your rewards here. This is excellent. This is really a time to celebrate, or it will be for a lot of you, okay? Some of you have been wanting to travel, maybe, or wanting a trip, some sort of something, even if it's just like a day thing. It feels as though you're able to do that, because I do get this energy of Also increased mobility too. And I don't normally get that off the sun card, but I'm getting that today. So it's sort of like once you come to terms and you kind of reorient or recalibrate, and get some things within yourself straightened out, addressed, you know what's important and needs to be addressed within your own self and your own life, body, mind, spirit, it seems like when those things are taken care of, you'll have a little more time to sort of be freer and just enjoy life the way a child would. You see the child on this card, a little more freeing yourself up for the things that really matter. That's Leo energy there. Anything else? Anything else for Libra? I want to get an empath empowerment card because I feel like, again, I came to this reading and I was feeling like, wow, I feel like there's some like somebody may be feeling kind of down or just sort of like, I don't know, like, I came through in this reading. I won't say it all over again, but yeah, let's see what we get here. It seems like some of us may need a little more just encouragement, inspiration here, and that's why I do the readings, right? Let's see, Libra, what do we have? Picking up on some collective energy here. All right. I'm getting a name like Suzette. I don't think I've had Suzette. All right. When I say I'm getting, it means I'm hearing it clairaudiently. We have practice. Oh, there it is, Libra. Practice self-compassion. Hello. Practice self-compassion. Tame those negative thoughts too, all right? So we have see yourself with loving kindness. Acknowledge your growth as an empath and honor the person you've become. Only you know all of your story. So that's why it's like it's not up to anybody to judge you or, why are you doing it this way? Or why didn't you do what I asked? Or, you should have done it this way. It would have been way more successful or blah, 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 blah. Right? Blah, blah, blah. It makes me think of like the adults in Charlie Brown, right? So just sometimes we just have to block it out. That's what the justice archetype does, right? They have to block that out. Same thing with the high priestess, right? They've got their back to the world, to the curtain, So we have stopped trying to fix people. It's not your job to fix anyone. Allow people the dignity of their own paths. I'm actually picking up on somebody's cat not feeling well, so sending some good healing vibes there, some love and light to that situation for you and your feline companion there. So I hope everything works out well with that. All right. Next, Libra. Breathe. Remember I said when I was looking at this woman here with I know that's her dress, but for me, I'm actually seeing like lungs and chest. I'm seeing like respiration. And I'm seeing she might not be taking full breaths there. She might feel the heaviness of the world on her chest almost. So this is like, breathing. You notice that they're wide open here. So maybe taking some good deep breaths could help you. All right, cleansing breaths. Breath is sacred. To replenish yourself, slowly inhale wellness and clarity to a count of 6, and then exhale stress to a count of 6. If it's medically advised for you personally, right? I don't know your situation and your lung capacity, okay? And Libra, focus on gratitude. Beautiful cup there, bowl, singing bowl. This is, don't wait for a crisis to happen to be grateful for your life. Today, focus on what you have to be grateful for. That's true. Some of us, we really only, some people only pray, like after, or like when they really need something, like, oh, please help me. I really need this. Maybe, and I'm not saying you need to pray. I'm just saying that some people like really lean into their spirituality mostly only when they really need a favor from the big guy or the divine or their goddesses or whoever it is you believe in, right? So they're only, and then after it's like, oh, thank goodness, or they really, so it's kind of one of those where, like, don't wait for you to really need something desperately for to start being, spiritual, or expressing gratitude to the divine, to the source, to God, whatever it is, whoever it is you personally believe in. um, I'm an inclusive channel here, so that's why I list various various things. Yeah, not waiting until you're like desperate to actually be grateful. you know so yeah, focusing on what you have now, what is going well now, and be grateful that then, and feeling that connection to source. Be lighthearted. Set your intention to be easygoing and playful today. Gift yourself with some carefree time to have fun. And you'll see they have their violin there. They're having a great time. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You can, what's the saying? Dance like nobody's watching, whatever it is that makes you feel lighthearted. What lights your heart up? What gives your soul joy? Tuning in, tapping in. Some of us, we get so caught up in the day to day, we forget. What else? Let yourself receive support. It's often easier for empaths to give than to receive. Allow others to support you. Experience the pleasure of their caring energy. One more. Assert your authentic needs. In a kind, confident tone, speak your needs rather than hiding them. Empower yourself by being authentic. Yes, that's what this big part of this reading focused on. So Libra, before you pivot or quit or give up completely on something, ask yourself, why am I feeling this way really? Was it something somebody did or said, or is it you're tired? Like, we really want to assess like why we have come to a certain critical moment, because it feels like there is this big critical moment, a decision point, and so yeah, before you make that big decision, you may just want to tap in, tune in, and see where it's coming from, and not just this one, but in others in general, just making sure that we're not being too heavily influenced by some of that, unfortunately, some of that negativity that we are surrounded with on a daily basis. This is not an easy time right now. All right, let's see what else we have for the beautiful, divine, lovely Libras. For Libras. If you enjoy the reading, you know how to show support. Like, comment, hype, subscribe, all the things. Thanks to my members. I appreciate you. All right, Libra. Fox and Marigold. Clever and bright. Seek knowledge and studies to help you move forward. Make the right move. So knowledge and study. So learning more. Again, learning more, digging in. Why am I feeling a certain way? Is there another way? Something I haven't considered. Do I not have enough, or do I have enough to actually, take a next step? Am I in need of help and support? Who can I ask? What's preventing me from doing that? So really kind of questioning ourselves rather than just living in like default mode. That could be something. And I feel like Libras, though, we're so good at questioning, we're like, we are the thinkers, one of the signs anyway. And yeah, we have Hawk and Iris, clarity and valor. Clear any confusion before you, look at that. Exactly. Clear the confusion before you rush into battle, all in moderation. Exactly. The whole reading. And I love that you have justice right in the center of your reading, right? And Libra, another message that's been coming in a little bit is that the truth doesn't change, right? That's one thing about the truth. The truth is the truth. That's it. There's no, so just something else to think about. What else do we have? So that's why it's important to know what the truth is too, All right, wolf and lavender. So there's more sort of purple, lavender color. Maybe that's a color you really connect with. So we have wild and pure. So look at things through the eyes of a child. So running free with abandon and seeing the world, or seeing the wonder in the world. All right, getting the initial B as in Betty or Bobby. Oh, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sign of unconditional love. No matter the flaws, you give and receive love. Yes. You're worthy of respect. Okay, that's another thing I want to point out. You know, people don't have to agree with exactly what you're doing, but they need to be respectful, right? That you're worthy of respect just by simply being. Okay, that's a human right. Respect, a certain amount of decency, respect, right? Not everybody's got to love you or hold the door for you or give you compliments, but a certain level of respect is um so that I feel like we have earned as people, right? 1515, sign of faith. You know, just because we don't like somebody doesn't give us a right to do certain things, right? All right, that's my only point there. And it's not like you're a baby. You know this, right? You know this stuff. Okay, so make necessary changes to achieve dreams. Sign of faith. A lot of these messages, as you know in these readings, it's me kind of confirming things you already know, right? Things that you're just coming, you get some confirmation, right? Or maybe you yourself pull cards. Lots of you already read tarot yourselves, and maybe you've been doing readings, and you get similar cards, and you're like, hey, that's actually, this kind of confirms what I was already thinking. And then you maybe tune in again on your own, and then you make your final decision, right? Always you making that final decision, Libra. We have 444. Just not letting somebody take your power. It's just like your power is not for sale. Okay, it's just not. It's all right. We have 444. So you're guided and protected. Angels watch over with love and encouragement, Libra. Bottom of the deck, a sign of enlightenment, 88. You have achieved wisdom and find success. Now, Libra, one galactic message for the lovely Libras. All right, Libra. Yep, here it is. Oh, Libra, karma's at play. Yeah, karma is at play. You can clear karma or cash in on good karma at this time. Choose your actions wisely. Had to look at the bottom, of course. Your angels are communicating through numbers. Watch for repeat sequences. Ones that came up in this reading for you are 4s, 8s, and 1s. And 2s. I did see 2s. All right. Actually, I ended up seeing 4 3s too. So not within the cards, just clairvoyantly or on the timer, sometimes in the cards too. But yeah, there we go. So that is what I have for you. And also, of course, 1111, right? 1111. That's what I have for you. Thanks so much for being here. Take care, Libra.